So, hi there. Before I start the video, I need to say something about my last video. Some of the points I made there, I didn't fully think about, and now that I look back on it, I definitely disagree on some of the points I made. You can check the comments of that video to see some better takes of it. I definitely rushed some parts of the script and didn't fully think it through, so sorry about that. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue on to my review of the Sumeru Archon quest. With the release of Sumeru in 3.0 of Genshin Impact, we have been given the new Archon quest as well as an introduction to the new Nation of Knowledge. So, how does it compare to its predecessors? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it mediocre? Is it worth your time sitting through and listening to every single text of dialogue? Or is it just worth it to read the summary of the Archon quest and skip through it? Well, that's why I'm here to tell you. I'll be reviewing the new Archon quest as well as giving my first impressions of the character in it. To give my short answer, it's good, great even. But there's some aspects of the Archon quest that may be a turn off to some people, especially in the second part of the Archon quest. I can definitely see why some people would just want to skip it and read the summary of it. Anyways, before I get into my review of the Archon quest, I did say I'll be also giving my first impressions of the characters that were in the Archon quest. I'll be talking about them in order of their first appearance in the Archon quest, so without any further delay, let's get into my review of the Sumeru Archon quest. So, in my opinion, the Sumeru Archon quest is one of the best they have created so far. If I have to rank it, it's in the top 5. I really enjoyed my time with the Archon quest, especially in the second part of it. But I'll talk about the first part of the Archon quest first. So, I think the first part of the Archon quest is much more interesting than the second part, but I enjoyed the second part much more than the first one. My biggest problem with the first part of the Archon quest is that it doesn't really go in depth with the ideas it has. It acts more of an introduction to those ideas that were shown, which is fine, but kind of annoying at the same time. Because I really want to know more about the topics that were in it. Though the fact that they didn't really talk about the corrosion that is happening in the forest is fine, because I think there's an entire world quest that is solely focused on the corrosion, but I don't know because I haven't done it yet. The Sumeru City part is probably the most uninteresting part of the Archon quest, but it is nice meeting Dea and Dunyarzad, in which I'm going to focus on Dunyarzad in the second part because oh my god, I got way too attached to her. But the thing I really wanted to focus on is Al-Haytham and the Divine Knowledge Capsule. Since I'll be already talking about Al-Haytham in a later part, I'll save my thoughts on him. What I want to focus on is the Divine Knowledge Capsule. In general, I think the concept of the knowledge capsules is really interesting. How you can contain knowledge in a container and whoever uses it will gain the knowledge inside of it. It definitely has a lot of potential for very creative uses. For example, putting a secret message inside of it. But now, let me actually talk about the Divine Knowledge Capsule. From what little was mentioned of the Divine Knowledge Capsule in the Archon quest, I was already very interested in it. How the knowledge contained within it will give the user the knowledge of the gods, and how it might be or it is the last thoughts of the greater Lord Rukkhadevata before she died. But from what we've seen, those who uses it will go mad and start attacking random people around them. Though I do have a theory that it might only happen to those who wear an Akasha, because when we switched to the POV of the guy who used the Divine Knowledge Capsule, it had a red effect covering his eyes and his Akasha was glowing red, and which makes sense because it is said that the Akasha is made from the power of the late Greater Lord Rukkhadevata.
Academia scum! Boss! Finally! Did you use it? Great! Now we can... Boss? Boss! What's wrong?
What happened to him? We have to cut his Akasha connection, now.
Target acquired! Arrest him! Do not impede our work. Is that understood, Al-Haytham?
Of course. I was only trying to help.
Take him away!
World, forget me.
Overall, the first part of the Archon quest was good. It's a good introduction to the new nation as well as its new characters. I definitely would have preferred if they went deeper with the Divine Knowledge Capsule in the Archon quest, but I am 100% certain that it's going to be a very important item for the future Archon quest of Sumeru, so it's fine. Also, before I continue on the second part, I have a question. When we first stepped foot into Sumeru, did we get high on shrooms or something? Because if we did, that would be hilarious. The first thing we ever did when we came to Sumeru was get high on shrooms. Man. So for the second part of the Archon quest, this is where I think some people would just want to skip it. For the simple fact that it's 2 or 3 hours of just talking. There's no puzzles to be solved. Well, there's technically one big puzzle to be solved. It also has no enemies to fight, and the only time you do fight a group of enemies is basically at the end of the Archon quest. It's literally just talking and trying to solve the mystery of why the day is repeating itself, in which I can see why people would want to skip it. They might find it boring or uninteresting, and it doesn't help that there isn't really any big events happening in the Archon quest. Sure, there's the dance at the end, but that's at the end. I can definitely see why some people would just want to skip through it, because I also got bored with it around the part when the first day reset happened. It got really boring for me, and I just turned off my brain and waited for something interesting to happen, and which thankfully something interesting did happen, and for the rest of the Archon quest I was hooked. So the plot for the second part of the Archon quest is how the traveler and everyone in Sumeru City is trapped in a repeating day and not remembering how the day is repeating, in which was pretty surprising at first. I didn't realize what was happening until we went to the food stall, because I noticed how Dunyarzad was pretty down or doesn't have that much energy, in which I thought maybe she was still upset that the Subzurus festival was cancelled by the academia, in which I assume that it's the next day. Like I said earlier, after the first day reset, it got really boring, because we already did this and we're just doing it over again, and it's pretty tedious to say the least. But when we finally get to meet Nahida or Kusanali, better known for as the new Danger Archon, everything after that I love. One of the main things I really liked about the second part of the Archon quest is the mystery aspect of it, where you have to figure out what is happening, why does the day keep on repeating itself. Though it can be quite predictable at times, I still really enjoyed it. While I was doing the Archon quest, I did have a thought that maybe it was a dream, because it was stated that people in Sumeru don't dream. I fully expected Hoyoverse might do a twist reveal for the truth of the repeating day, in which I was right, it was a dream. But it's still a good reveal. Though the fact that the academia was actually stealing the dreams of the people of Sumeru to use those dreams to get all the information they need for the Akasha, and that's the real reason why the people of Sumeru don't dream, is actually so good. I didn't see it coming at all. But out of all of this, the thing I enjoyed the most is Dunyarzad. So, let me talk about the character that I honestly got way too attached to. I don't know what happened, but I just really like her, alright? All I wanted was her to be happy, like Jesus Christ. All she wanted was to see Nilo dance in the Subsurus festival. But no! Those cunts in the academia decided to cancel it. I was genuinely so pissed at that old son of a bitch. And when Nilo says maybe they can try next time, she sounded so defeated. She knows for a fact that she doesn't have a next time because she has Elazar or whatever you pronounced it, and she is going to die soon. In which, if you don't know what is Elazar, it's the same disease that Kale has. All you really need to know is that Dunyar Zad is dying from that disease. And when she had that fake out death in the dream, I was genuinely so sad. I was like Traveler in that moment. I was devastated, alright? Then that cutscene at the end with Nilu's dance was, in my opinion, one of, not if the most beautiful and prettiest cutscene in the game. But then Dunyar Zad suddenly appeared to see Nilu's dance. My heart! I couldn't take it.
The wait is over, everyone. I dedicate this to our god, the dance of Sub-Zerus.
I'd be lying if I said I had no regrets. I would have loved to see Nilu's dance.
And it turns out she was alive all along. When I found out about this, I was so relieved and happy at the same time. Like, I was honestly jumping. I loved her so much. Honestly, I think Dunyar Zod carried the entire Archon quest. Without her, the Archon quest would have been above average at least. She's just such a great written character in which I would love to see more of her, or similarly written characters in the future. So, for the second part of the Archon quest, it's really good, especially the parts involving Dunyar Zod. Though it can be tedious and uninteresting at times, it is still a very enjoyable and a great experience overall. In general, the entire story quest is just really good, and plus, it did something I thought would never be possible. It actually made me like Paimon. That moment where Paimon was really worried for the traveler because they were gone for 2 days and didn't return was really sweet. So, how about you, Raiden? It's your turn. Let's see if you can actually redeem yourself and actually make me like you. So anyways, let me get into my first impressions of the characters in the Archon quest. The first one is Kale, and she is precious, alright? She needs to be protected that anything that tries to harm her, and put it in the hospital or make it dead. She is just adorable. The next is Dignari, and I really like his personality. There is just something about his straightforwardness that I really like. Plus, the guy basically eats any mushroom he finds, no matter what it is. It can either be poisonous, cause hallucinations, or anything else. He'll eat all those up like it's chicken McNuggets. And plus, in his character trailer, the guy was just basically high on shrooms. Then next is Dia, which she is fine. Her personality is pretty okay in my opinion, though I do really like the fact that she sold off her weapons so she can donate to the Sub-Zerus festival for Dunyarzad, and her character design is one of the best in the game, and she is so goddamn hot, like Jesus Christ. Now, for Al-Haytham, I think he's really cool. He's like Kia, but he has a somewhat more trustworthy personality and much more serious, which I really like. Also, Horrorverse did Ito dirty because there's a lot of NPCs in Sumeru that actually have muscles. Hell, Al-Haytham has more muscles than Ito. As for Dory, I really like her. She has one of the most unique personalities in the game, in my opinion. She is basically a Mora addict. If it can make Mora, she will love it. And plus, she tries to scam people, which I find funny. Also, I just find her funny in general. The fact that she used to pray every day to Morax for more Mora, but then when he died, she just started to pray to herself. And finally, the last and certainly not least, Lesser Lord Kusanali, also known as the Danger Archon. Out of all the Archons, she is not my most favorite, nor she is my least favorite. She's around the middle ground. If I have to rank them, it would be like Raiden Shogun at the bottom. In third place is Kusanali, second place is Zhongli, and in first place is Fenty. Don't get me wrong, I do really like her in the Archon quest, but I think this is the same situation I had with Diluc, that it's gonna take me some time to actually really like her. And with that, that's the end of my review of the Archon Quest. In my opinion, the Archon Quest as a whole was really good, and with the help of great characters, especially Dunyarzad, it elevated it to being one of the best. Honestly, Dunyarzad is what Tempe could have been if the Inuzuma Archon Quest wasn't rushed. Yeah, sure, it was sad when he died, but I didn't really care, because I never really got attached to him, which I'm pretty certain I'm one of the few people that didn't really care about him. But anyways, let's just hope the future parts of this Sumeru Archon Quest isn't going to be like the Inazuma Archon Quest. And that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching through the end. As for my next video, I honestly have nothing planned, so I don't know what I'm going to do for my next video. Though maybe I'll make a video about original characters that I honestly would like to see in the game. Like for example, since we already have Anubis, that being Sinnoh, how about we get a raw character? Or how about a pharaoh, something like Tutankhamun, something based on Tutankhamun or Cleopatra, whatever. Or maybe we can get a character that solely focuses on debuffing a enemy, which I'm pretty certain we don't have this type of character in the game. Which if we do, I wouldn't mind pointing it out. Sorry if I seem a lot more jittier and stutter much more in this video. I've been really nervous and anxious as of lately, and I don't know why. Maybe it has to do with school, but honestly, I don't know. So yeah, goodbye.